Ladies and gentlemen, here is Lou Williams.
Experience the magic of the Dickinson Kimball Theatre pipe organ. For more than 40 years, the Dickinson Theatre Organ Society has maintained this magnificent instrument and thrilled thousands with their outstanding annual concert series. The Dickinson Kimball is truly a one-of-a-kind instrument. It features 2 consoles and 66 sets of pipes housed in the walls of the John Dickinson High School Auditorium in Wilmington, Delaware. Its story began nearly a century ago. It continues today, thanks to the work of the Dickinson Theatre Organ Society.
The theater organ as we know it today came into being in about the first decade of the 20th century when movies began to become more and more universally accepted, and people always associate silent movies with rickety-tick player piano, but that was not always the case. In any theater over 400 or 500 seats, you would have an instrument like this.
The silent pictures were not silent, not by any means. And the life of the theater organ begins there. And I think that part of the appeal for the theater organ was the mystery about it. It's a miracle of sound. There's no other way to put it.
There's a circus siren, an old-fashioned Model T horn, fire bell, woodblock, triangle. You've got the yellow stop keys. These are for the strings. The reds are for the big trumpet sounds. It's like having a symphony orchestra right in your fingers. Of course, the organ in the theater was made completely obsolete with the advent of sound movies in 1927, and by about 1930, in America at least, most of them had been phased out of regular use, and they were kind of forgotten for about 20 years.
In the 1950s, you find the American Theatre Organ Society, which is a group that gets together and decide they remember these things and they love them and they want to see them live. And the Society and other organizations that are saving individual instruments, saving components, assembling in their homes, trying to put them in places like, Dickinson is a marvelous example of what these societies do at their very best. They were responsible for this first sort of renaissance of the instrument.
I taught in a nearby school for 10 years before I came here to Dickinson. When I walked into Dickinson and saw this auditorium, I also saw the possibilities for a theater organ here. Well, a long series of events happened, and about 6 months later, we were given the organ that was in the Boyd Theater up in Philadelphia. Before we took it out of the theater, we held a concert in the theater, sort of like a farewell to Philadelphia. Larry Ferrari played that concert for us. After that, the next week, we started with the dismantling of the organ, and that meant the first thing we did was pull all the pipes out of the organ. Then we started on the mechanism. And that happened all through the rest of February, all of March, and all of April. And by May 1, everything was out of the theater and back here at the school. Oh boy, let's put it this way. Just counting the pipes alone, there are about 5,000 pipes. Then there's mechanism underneath all those pipes that determine where the air goes, when the air is supposed to enter the pipe, and so forth. And there's all the support mechanisms. So there are probably, my guess would be somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 15,000, 20,000 parts that we took apart and brought down to the school.
Can you play the vibraphone harp?
It exists now as 3 keyboards with 2 different consoles and 66 sets of pipes. So it's grown a lot since that time. The first concert here was sold-out house. In fact, it was oversold. The auditorium seats 1,200, and we had 1,500 people there that night. The organization at that point was a student club here at the school. So we reorganized into the present Dickinson Theatre Organ Society. In 1974, I believe it was, we organized as a 501c3 organization chartered in the state of Delaware. And it has existed in that form ever since. I would say the magic is the sound, brought out by very capable artists. But that's not all of it. Part of it is the experience of coming in, hearing the sound, and seeing the production that we put on.
Dickinson Theatre Organ Society consistently has a wonderful series of concerts every year, professionally presented, and I think that it's a shining example of how a professional concert organization should be run, and I believe their constant, consistent success through the years speaks for itself here.
Don't miss your chance to experience the music and the magic of the Dickinson Kimball Theatre Pipe Organ. Get your tickets today.